Good. Coming through? Clean?
I mean, you sound all right.
I got the pop filter on and everything, you know?
I don't know if I would use the word good, but I'd say okay. I have to click my finger because it syncs.
I'm going to have to reach out to the Snowball company then.
I have to click my finger because it syncs the audio with the... I have to record it separately on my recorder, and then it's just really weird. I thought that this whole process would have been much more streamlined. However, it is what it is.
Oh.
So anyways, I kind of wanted to hit you with this question. No introductions. Yeah. This is just Chris.
Okay.
You know, I mean, cool. If you come back, maybe
maybe we'll introduce you. We'll see how this one goes. Yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of wanted to just hit you with this one ROI question.
Lots of those.
I bought 2 items, and I'm wondering if you can guess which one had the greatest return on investment. So the first item was a mirror that goes. It's a anti-fogging mirror that goes into your shower.
Okay. I mean, you've got a bald head, so I don't know what else you could be shaving.
And the other is the new Apple TV 4K.
You kind of dress it up like a trick question, but I'm still gonna say the Apple TV.
Surprisingly not. I know I completely bagged on the Roku box or whatever that, poverty box is that you were talking about.
Relax. I have a TV. It's a Roku TV, not a little box.
Oh, Roku they actually hawk off TVs then, huh? Is that what they're doing?
Basically,
now?
instead of having the box, it's just a Roku TV, so it has all the app on the main screen.
Oh, okay. So I mean, I bought this Apple TV. I plug it in. I see that you can download games. I sent you a message telling you, hey, I'm going to be the next big online gaming streamer.
I think that's an untapped resource.
Exactly. Until I found out that the game library is almost non-existent. So
they have like 3 games?
Pretty much. 3 like good games out of 20.
So you can master those.
I could.
And make them competitive?
And what's really sad is I thought that, okay, well, maybe they're going to come out with some more games later on. This box has been out for like 2 years. It's kind of sad.
Yeah. So it's not good if they haven't developed for it.
I know.
Really going to be that next big thing.
I mean, I thought that maybe they would try to compete with, the Nintendo Switch out there. My brother's asking me, well, if it can play Fortnite, then maybe it's worth it. It can't.
Yeah, I mean, isn't the running joke that Skyrim can play on anything? So maybe that's the next big thing, Skyrim on Apple TV.
I know, unfortunately, Skyrim is also a game that's unavailable. I mean, you would be surprised, even things like Monopoly. Of all the games, like even Hasbro games that are out, the only one that's available is the game Risk. But
Risk is a great game, except that it takes a lot of time.
Okay, then you're the only person on the planet Earth that I know that enjoys the game Risk.
Risk is amazing. You don't like that? You just have to take Australia and then it's game over. You start with Australia and you work your way out.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess I spoke too soon because I've never played it myself. So, but either way,
you have 8 hours on a Saturday to kill.
I mean, I'd rather kill Risk. 8 hours with like something like Monopoly,
Yeah, but that's friendship rage inducing.
I know. I mean, who's trying to keep their friendships anyways?
Sure. I guess it's a good way to lose a friend if you're trying to,
But I mean, segueing into things, we've got Chris on the podcast for the first time. So welcome. Sure. Thank you for being a part of this. I mean, we've really tried to lock this down for quite some time now, but I know you have a very busy schedule.
And a bumpy road.
I know. I mean, this whole setup that I have to work with here, it's like the wires and cables are everywhere, and I hope to get this all cleaned up sooner rather than later.
I mean, being a secondary guest, just trying to fill me in whenever, that's been the main problem. One of our big hurdles.
I know. I've had these heaters of guests that's just, they've canceled on me.
You're a popular podcast.
I just don't want to feel like I'm like, you're just a fallback person, like.
I'm used to it. I am married. So.
I figured you'd be used to it. But anyways, we talked about this at work, and so I figured we'd get into it now since you're fully cleansed and binged out of the Umbrella Academy. A pretty awesome season on Netflix. For anybody listening, we're going to be talking about this show there are going to be spoilers. You have been warned. So
yeah, you have about 10 seconds to turn down the volume.
Yeah. If you don't want to know anything, just go ahead and skip the entire episode because we're just going to get into our thoughts, talk about plotline. Is there even going to be a season 2? I guess that right there is a mini spoiler in itself. But anyways, Umbrella Academy, what'd you think? And yeah.
Okay, so we watched, I think, 2 episodes the first night, and watched another episode, I think, on Tuesday, and then we finished it out pretty much 5 episodes, I think, on Friday and last Saturday.
Okay.
And I'm speaking about my wife and I, we both really liked it. I think that there is some questions, like why didn't he, once he figured out who was the cause of the apocalypse, why didn't he just time travel right back to that point before Luther locked her up? He can time travel back, he knows, and that's what sets it off. So if he could just time travel back, why didn't he just do that just himself? Just time travel back to that one specific point and just fix Vanya before she goes all ballistic.
Well, I guess they kind of answer that right at the end, though, in the opera scene, where he says that Vanya is always the reason for the apocalypse, and that creeper of a boyfriend dude, he's just sort of the spark that ignites
something.
Yeah, she's the bomb, he's the spark,
the fuse.
Yeah. Well, the wick, whatever you want to. Whatever you want to call it, but he's the the fuse. We'll just say fuse. And so I think that even he and himself realized that he couldn't really go back to that distinct point, because there are other times throughout the series where he's sent back in time to accomplish a certain thing, a certain mission, one of which was to assassinate Kennedy. And so he was the one who was there, who was supposed to do it. Yet when he opens that portal to then travel back in time, the assassination still happens. So I'm under the impression that this entire group or corporate group that they have, they're constantly sending agents to ensure that the timeline remains the same. So even if he were to go back to that point when Luther locks her up, something else is happening to prevent that. He almost has to figure out an ultimate reason, like Inception, to go back to when she's just a babe and change her completely.
I think we'll find out if there's a season 2.
I know, I've not read anything. And even if they did, I mean, we're already so invested in these characters as adults.
Yeah.
To go back and watch them as kids, it's like, well... You know,
I feel overall the show was really well done, but I think they missed a lot on they were trying to make dramatic scenes, and it's like they kind of flopped a little on it. It's like they kind of put them in that, like, it seemed forced. Like, they wanted drama scenes, so they tried to force it. I don't know. It just didn't. Maybe that's the actress' fault. I don't know.
Well, it definitely could have been like, well, for example, when they had to dismantle, or Diego dismantled his mom. Yeah. Like slit her wrist open and started pulling some wires. That definitely seemed like it was just like they got in this huge fight down in the lobby or down in their dad's bar. And then he's like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to just go dismantle mom then, because she's acting kind of wild. It's like, maybe just sleep on it, bro. You know, you just got in a really big tussle. I don't really think
you didn't hear anything, Mom? Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to cut your wrist open and deactivate you.
I know, like, I didn't understand, like, the bridge between, well, she didn't hear anything. She didn't think to call the police or go into full on cyborg mode and come down and help. Well, why do we need to dismantle her? She's not doing any harm to anybody.
Yeah, I don't know.
But again, the emotional scene, I mean, they started with him like having this stutter, and then she helps him through it. And I think that was kind of like a weird, like maybe he'd been touched kind of scenario going on too. So he might have had like a bigger connection to her than, it's almost like we as the audience have to piece that together. They didn't really convey that very well.
No, I agree.
And so what were your thoughts on Monkey Boy? The half
Pogo or Luther? Luther, I don't know. He was trying to be like a Captain America. Kind of fell flat. I don't like when shows have like where they're do like a whole give up basically in I think episode 7 or 6 they did an entire episode and then they're like, oh, none of this really happened because we time travel back or we changed something. Like, I hate when shows do that, or it was a whole dream the entire time. Like that just means that like whatever you wasted time watching didn't never happen. It didn't really mean anything to you.
I think that's like cardinal sin too of writing.
Yeah, they even like tried to tease stuff, but then they never really revisited the stuff that they were teasing. Like I don't know. I hate when shows do that. That's just a personal thing.
That was an interesting dance break though that they had before they went
with back. Luther and Allison. Yeah, but it didn't mean anything.
It seemed like had they continued on with that timeline, things would have been fine.
Yeah, or close, or if not, they would have died happy, But yeah, because if Vanya is the one that blows off the moon and causes the apocalypse, like they were nowhere near happening in that episode.
Yeah.
And what happens if they just like let her play out? Like Luther has been messing everything up. He is the number one problem for the whole thing. He locked her up. People didn't want that. He tried to attack her from both sides, pissed her off, didn't like that. Then they tried again, attacked her from all sides, didn't work out. Like he's the one pissing her off.
Yeah, I think
he just needs to stay out of it.
Maybe he just wasn't really a good choice to be number one, to be the leader of this group, this ragtag bunch.
Well, Diego was even like, if you're gonna be number one, step up to the plate. Now's your time.
Yeah,
he still didn't even. Really.
Yeah, coming at him from both sides, it just didn't seem like, the best, maybe strategic plan.
Yeah, well, literally, they just tried it, and he's like, "Oh, let's try it again." It was the exact same plan. Like, why would it work this time?
And I didn't get why homegirl. She had the gun to the back of her head. She had her dead to rights. She could have ended it all, but decided to shoot next to the ear.
Yeah, to throw her, I guess, off or whatever from playing. But
just like scare her a little bit, and then you get this Omega blast into the moon, which did look pretty cool when that moon blew.
I've never had a gun shot next to my ear, but I imagine I would blow up the moon. So I don't blame her.
Well, I mean, I would imagine it would have blown her eardrum out. I saw no blood or anything like that. And when they decided to all just travel back to the past, per number 5, he was saying that this is the only way we can do this. We got to go back and sort of just change her. It seems like it's just a huge cluster when you have to combat agents who are trying to maintain this timeline for an apocalypse.
And it's such like a cheap way. Oh, we'll just time travel. Like I hate that's an ability. Like, oh, let's just time travel back and fix everything again. Like what would stop him from ever to keep doing it over and over and over again?
That it seems like that would just be the rest of your life. Like you would always have to do this over and over and over again
to get the outcome.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, you have that opposing factor.
So, are we in agreement that the commissioner sends out hit squads? So they're both, because earlier on in the episode, I wasn't sure if the hit squad, like the just the gunmen, the regular thugs.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if they were both them and the assassins were linked, but it clearly seems that
I think so.
Organization, yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it probably states it like in a comic somewhere, but I think that they're probably the first line. Just you know what, we got this issue. Y'all go out there and do it.
Distract them and sacrifice yourselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll let the assassins kind of do the big stuff.
Yeah, they failed, and so clearly you have top tier corporate men and women who have to come out and do the dirty work.
So the commissioner lady, she's not the handler, right? Or was that specific? Like the handler, is that specific to people's certain cases, or is the handler like the big dude we haven't even really touched on? From my understanding, she's the handler, but I could be wrong.
I thought the handler was a person who manages each individual's case.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I missed the terminology.
But even then, it's interesting to think, well, who is she working for as well? Because
right, exactly.
She's merely just like
a pawn.
Executive. But she's not CEO of the whole thing.
No. Just like a peon.
Yeah.
Account manager or something.
But when they traveled, or when she offered number 5 that position in corporate and then took him to their place, the time did come up, right? It was like the 50s?
Yeah, 1955. So they're stuck in maybe not stuck, but maybe that's the time period they chose to
just
reside in.
Yeah. So that's where I was really thrown for a loop on the whole. Did they, because I guess I'm thinking like they're just humans when, like, they're humans that develop the time traveling technology. They've gone to the future and they decide to create a corporation around maintaining that. But then when you find out that the father of the Umbrella Academy is from another planet, it leads me to believe, well, these individuals might not even be humans who kind of like I imagine back in the 50s, they developed time travel and then they just make this their job.
So I don't know so that's what also I'm confused about. So I don't know if they can create time travel. I don't know if it was maybe one of in the very beginning, there's 43 babies that were born that day, right?
Yeah.
So is it that is it like actual, like the billionaire's kids? He's just planting out seeds everywhere. Like when they all left the planet, maybe they all gave birth and that's just how they give birth. It's just one day and he was trying to collect all the kids he could. Or is it, or are those 43 part of the commissioner or whatever, and they have their little business set up? Is it one of those kids that went back in time and, his like extreme intelligence and can create time traveling briefcases?
Yeah. Well, I think that when Klaus takes his little visit to the afterlife, the little girl who's supposed to represent God.
Yeah.
Tells him she created all these kids. She put them there. And so it must be a part of some grander plan. Again, it seems to invite just this huge amount of confusion to a series that's not very linear, like a lot of other Marvel movies or DC films, where it's like good guy, bad guy. Here's the story beginning, middle, and end. This is like really convoluted with time travel introduced, and we don't know who the major players are. There wasn't even any post-season like teaser.
No.
Or anything. You just kind of got to know. And then, I mean, when Steve was saying that there's only like 18 comic book issues, that's not really a lot of literature to go on.
I mean, but that means that they can open it up to interpretation.
Yeah.
Really, they want with it.
I thought it was really well done. Like, just cinematically, when I hear about even introducing CG into some of these shows, like how much that costs for just a regular television series, it's usually the budget of the episode is the CG. So it made sense why Pogo wasn't in all the time.
And
because he was a good looking monkey.
Yeah, but he missed in the beginning, like he missed that main fight that was going on when the assassins first showed up to their house.
Yeah, he was
completely gone that entire episode. When I feel like that was probably one of the more important ones for him to be in.
Yeah,
he was just gone. My house is getting thrashed, but I don't care. What is he taking care of?
I know he's like the keeper of the house. Does he even go outside? Can he go outside?
Oh. Did he come from the planet where the billionaire guy came from?
I'm not. Yeah, again, they don't even. And then it was interesting too. I mean, we're jumping around, but on the planet when he's saying goodbye to his bae.
Yeah,
and she's like,
fireflies.
Don't you look dapper? And then he's
it's like, yes, I do.
It's like they were stuck in like some clockwork. What's it called? Just some like steampunk era. Like steampunk just was their entire planet. And you just see all these rocket ships launching off in the distance. I mean, that's a little close to his residence. And so, I was curious about that as well. Like, where did he get this ape? I didn't think it came with him. But even
they didn't show. Yeah, they didn't. But
and even if he did make it, why? Like, you would think that maybe a technology like that might have been outlawed on his planet, and he's just like had a fetish about creating.
I don't know about that, but
creating sentient apes and cyborg nannies.
Wives, yeah. Well, Vanya was going through them like candy, man.
I know, and they didn't, like, I was wondering, like, as she was murdering, like, literally slaying these nannies, where was the repercussion? What was the legal?
Yeah, no police reports or anything? Like,
yeah, where are the bodies buried?
Under the statue that got knocked over in the first episode. Or second episode.
Oh, man.
I did like how they kind of did the villain side of Vanya. Like, you never get villain backstories.
Yeah.
Like, they're just a bad guy in movies. So it was kind of nice seeing, like, where Vanya came from. So you kind of side with her, too. Like, you understand why she's doing everything.
Yeah, she was definitely
just like,
pressured.
Oh, I just hate everyone.
Yeah. She was definitely pressured by that old man.
Well, I mean, he was a dick.
I know. What did he only get, like 1 hour of playtime per week?
Yeah. 30 minutes, and they couldn't even go up certain places. Yeah.
But when that kind of messed up, like that creeper boyfriend, I wanna get into that, dude, because there's quite a
Harold Jenkins or Lauren Peabody, or whatever what the name was.
Killed his old man with a hammer.
That's brutal.
Because he was born, he thought he was special. Clearly he was not. Special in a different way.
He just happened to be born on that same day.
Yeah, maybe his superpower is he's a murderer. But, he's the cardboard cutout of the mask. Like, he's all decked out, and he wants to be one of them.
He was definitely on stalker status.
And that old man just shuts him down, like, in front of everybody. That's like the creation of a villain right there.
That's straight. Wasn't it done like Incredibles like that? The little boy wanted to be. Yeah. And they'd had a lot of like movie references, like the Fight Club scene, and yeah.
The Matrix with the club scene. That was kind of similar. I mean, you don't see that many raves nowadays.
I mean, he was a furry.
I know.
He was going crazy in the club, man.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go down that rabbit hole, but
so can Ben, not Ben, can Klaus control Ben?
Klaus or Klaus?
Oh, whichever. Both work. American or German, whatever. I'll use both.
I don't think he controls Ben. I think that Ben is like
able to.
Ben is like his own thing. He can conjure the dead, so I think he can bring their spirits back. It's not like I don't know
his fist glue. Like, I'm gonna make him do something.
I think his fist glue. I didn't know that glue was a term for glow.
Yeah, glow.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just.
I would hope we're both correct with this, but his fist.
I'm probably wrong.
I'm gonna double down. His fist glue, and and Ben just goes full on Cthulhu on these.
So you think he's more like a gateway for Ben to be able to?
I think so.
Not him controlling Ben, but allowing Ben to do stuff.
Yeah, I think so, because Ben cold clocked him in the face, and he lost a tooth.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. So he went full on ghost. Patrick Swayze, rest in peace.
See another movie reference there.
But he went full on ghost status by hitting Klaus right in the face. And so I think that he is his own thing. He does his own thing, but he needs this medium. Median. Yeah, in order to sort of be in tune with the physical world, because he's a part of the spiritual one now. But then when they could see him, and people are looking, they're like, "Whoa, Ben!" And even baby girl was like, "Ooh, Ben!" Like she.
She was like, "Oh, you're looking good. You haven't aged,
Yeah, like you still look like.
What you doing later after this fight?
She's like, you look like the day you died. Like,
yeah.
Which they never really got into.
No, I wish they did. They don't touch on how he died,
because everybody
like why they left.
Yeah, you have to remember too, in that hotel scene when Klaus conjures all of those spirits that the what was it, Kiki and Coco and
Cha-Cha and Hazel.
Yeah, Cha-Cha and Hazel. When he conjures,
song.
Yeah, when he conjures the spirits of the people that they had murdered throughout different timelines, you see they all look pretty haggard, because much like Beetlejuice, they kind of still have the dysmorphia that they had.
Yeah,
but Ben doesn't. Maybe he's like, another movie reference, Sixth Sense, where he's got like a little blood little gunshot coming out the back.
You just can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be something like that. But, or he's suffocated. I don't know. He would look like he would look strangulated in some way. So they don't even offer any hints.
Nope.
But I mean, he died pretty swag too. I mean, leather jacket with the hoodie underneath. I mean, he was like,
at least that's what we think.
Yeah, he looked like he was going out.
Yeah.
He might have died on the
with
date.
Luther at the club.
So what'd you think about when you found out? Because the two time traveling agents, they do have to carry a case with them. They keep it very corporate in terms of, you know, there's rules and regulations. It's not like they're just your regular hitmen. They have pensions.
Well, they have to follow.
They've got 401ks. And so they've got rules that they've got to follow even when out to maintain the timeline. What were your thoughts when you found out that that case was actually what was used for traveling through time?
So in the beginning episodes, I kind of like hinted at it. I didn't know exactly what it was. But when the officers were going over that very first gun scene, they were like, "Oh, these are bullets from 1960."
Yeah.
Like, okay, so these dudes time travelers. Like, I mean, they kind of, and like, I think there's some kind of like the ways they react to some of the scenery and stuff. You can kind of tell like they're not used to what they're seeing. So it was like, oh, this definitely looks different than what I'm used to. So they've gone to the future now or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was. I thought they could have touched more on. They left a lot of stuff open-ended, annoying.
Yeah,
but I mean, maybe that's what they're gonna dive down into more. There's other seasons. It's just I don't know.
And how and how those tubes manifested.
Just anywhere. Yeah.
Just anywhere. You would hear
every hotel they visited or in the bowling alley.
Yeah, I mean, I was curious. Like, am I just supposed to take this as Hogwarts? It's just magic.
I think you're supposed to take it as.
Or is it like Bill and Ted, where it's like they're shooting this tube off, but then they're going to remember at some point in time there's a guy who's going to install it and make sure it gets delivered there.
Right. I think that they have to remember, like, they've already done this timeline, right? They know where they're supposed to be. So they've already built a tube system there, I think. I don't know. But yeah.
That's all. Yeah. That stuff just gets really confusing.
Yeah, or like, because how they're so corporate, the assassins, that they have to go to these specific hotels in the future because they've already built a tube system in. That's why when they checked into their room, it was like they had no idea what room it was, but he already had room for them. So, and is he in on it? The inn manager? Like, is he part of corporate? Like, I don't know. Was he planted?
Yeah, that was
he didn't help the cops at all.
Exactly. Well, how many hotel managers are really eager when they're working the graveyard shift anyways to want to help anybody? But I don't think that the tubes were actually pre-manufactured, because unless they moved to a different room, in the first room they were in, and this is just saying that it was the same room the entire time. The first room they were in, the tube was in the shower, and then they received another message and the tube was in the mini fridge. So unless that was a completely separate room, I know that they had one on the first floor and then they got moved to the second floor, or they were on the second floor and then they were moved to the first floor. So maybe that's where the change happened. And that would explain that, yeah, the tube system probably was pre-installed.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And that the hotel must be a thing.
I don't know. Question. Then they're not going to answer any of them. So
I know. If we don't get a season 2, then it's all for naught, I guess. Do
you want a season 2? What would you like to see them touch on in season 2?
I'm not really a huge fan. Like, I know this is going to be stepping on your toes, but I'm not really a huge fan of that Juno girl.
Well, on Paige.
Yeah. I mean, I know you're a hardcore fanboy and all, but
I mean, I don't hate her. I don't love her either, though. So
yeah,
whatever.
I just felt like, one, she didn't really fit with the whole group. Which, if they were going for that as her as an outcast, yeah, I'm on board 100%. But secondly, she's just her acting too. as the character and in the role, it just seemed off. Like the whole ensemble was cool, but I just wasn't a fan of her. And I know that, she gets headline in the credits and she gets, front and center on the billboard. So she's supposed to be the anchor character, the Tony Stark of the show.
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, she's the one who's supposed to be bringing in the viewers. It's like, oh, Ellen Page is in this new show. I've got to go check it out. So if they do a season 2, I'm not really sure if I would be that eager. I would
really, you wouldn't watch a season 2?
I would limp into it. I don't know if I would binge it the way I binged this one. Just because by the time we got to episode 5, I was already invested. Like, I need to know what's up with this whole time travel stuff and where's it going to go. But then, like you said, they threw me for a loop with that whole, we ran through this timeline and then boom, 5 cuts a deal and everything just goes back.
Yeah. I think, what if they just did it as them as kids, did more like kids side of thing, like some of their adventures rolled over?
Well, it seemed like it was pretty violent what these kids were doing, like in that bank scene in the very beginning. It seems like, these kids were put in some pretty skittish situations. And I remember that it was back in maybe early 2000s when they were coming out with kids in like violent action roles. So you had Hit Girl and Kick Ass. You had the movie Hannah, where that girl was training to be like an assassin with that.
Right.
And there was another film, and they were kind of talking about like, should kids be in these roles? Should they be, little kid John Wicks all of a sudden?
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure if I would be interested. Like, yeah, there's some comic series where the kids are in some pretty interesting scenarios, but if they're gonna then segue into like, them killing people and dying and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I didn't really think of it from that point of view. Like, really have kids be fighting and dying, or putting them their lives on the line. Like, is that what we really want to show? But I also think would be kind of cool. Like how like Star Trek and all those kind of shows, like their whole main premise is like different adventures.
Yeah.
Right. So like each episode is like some kind of different adventure. Like that would be kind of cool to see a season of like, just their mini adventures that they did, or, like highlight one adventure that they did and just, elaborate a little bit on it and why it impacted them. I mean, they can do that forever, or why like Ben died, or why that makes, why Allison left and all that kind of stuff, why Luke Diego left, like that.
Well, and I guess, that can open up a lot of things too, because I mean, you have I forget the character's name, but she was the one that could say, I heard a rumor. I mean, these kids almost became mini celebrities. And I think there's another series that's out right now. I can't remember which one it is, but it talks about either young superheroes or children of superheroes that also have superpowers, and how they're almost born into this level of celebrity. And how do they cope with that?
Are you talking about like the God, I want to say like the Runaway Kids or something like that? Or
yeah, that might be it. They keep advertising that on Hulu, and it's like, watch this. And then it's like, no, I don't want to watch these, ragtag kids. And then I hear about this show, and then you're telling me it's the Runaway Kids. Is like, maybe I should just check that show out.
Yeah, my wife and I watched it too. I don't know. It kind of also, that one was a little weirder though. I like this one more than I like the other.
But then you have to bear in mind they're going to bring that old man back. And so, I mean, you're going to be watching a show with like just this abusive parent, father figure.
I mean, he wasn't like physically. Well, I guess he definitely wasn't physically abusive. Mentally, 100%.
Yeah, he laid into those kids. I mean, he even blocked Luther from getting that smooch, with baby girl.
4 years on the moon, also.
Oh yeah, and 4 years on the moon. Sending back them packages, saving all that dookie up there on that.
Throw them away. I mean, why even keep them around? Even then, the afterlife. Oh yeah, that was a mistake. I mean, what?
Maybe after 90 days, he could have been like, you know what? It's not working out. Why don't you just come back?
Yeah.
And kick it here on Earth.
Yeah.
Sends him up there in some RV.
Yeah. Just doing the same routine every single day.
Yeah.
Man, 4 years.
That's got to suck. Did you see that movie Moon?
I don't think so.
That's a pretty awesome film. I mean, it's about a guy who's up on the moon, and I think he's either terraforming it or harvesting minerals and then shipping it back to Earth via like a mag cannon. So a rail gun that's
so kind of like The Martian, but he doesn't purposely get trapped on the.
Yeah, and so he's up there and he's like web chatting with his wife back at home, but they have to send messages because apparently the network's down. Unfortunately, due to the time we're recording this podcast, it was the homie from House of Cards who is the voice of the robot. So I'm not really sure. A lot of people might want to see that movie just based on his
voice acting.
Yeah, just his current legal situation. Mm-hmm. But so he's like the robot, and he's telling him, "Oh yeah, the network's down," and so you're getting messages from home, but they're coming in a little bit later. So he can send messages, and he's like slated to go home in a couple days. So one of the satellite towers is down. He goes out to check it and crashes, gets knocked out, comes back, sees himself there back at the station. And it's like, what the heck is going on here? Or no, I think he goes to check a satellite and then he finds himself out there. It's
already checking it or something?
Yeah, it's like one really weird twist where he then is brought back to consciousness and you find out that he was never going home. They were just cloning this guy. And when he would get into the pod to then go home, they were just incinerating him.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, a corporate found that it was a lot cheaper to just leave a man up there forever than it would. Yeah.
I don't know about the logistics behind that.
You should check it out. I think it's still on Netflix. Moon.
Okay. Moon.
Yeah. Just Moon.
Is that how you spell moon? Thanks.
I don't know. I mean, you might figure like, hey, is there another way? Klaus, you know?
Glow. We're on a roll here.
Pretty much. So, okay, 5 out of 5, or we want to do out of 10. What do you give Umbrella Academy?
I would probably go 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. So you would 7 out of 10. You'd watch again.
I don't know if I'd watch it. I already know everything, maybe to catch some things, I would watch it again if like my brother came to town and wanted to see it.
Okay,
right? I would sit through and watch it again with him for a first time, and then kind of like help him along the process a little bit, or at least what I know, or we can
guide
talk about
him
episodes.
Really.
Yeah,
and let me be your guide.
I wouldn't watch it again just on my own to watch.
Okay,
but if someone else hadn't seen it, I would watch it.
So we're talking like 9s and 10s would be definitely watch again. We're talking like Office status, Friends.
Yeah, Office on repeat. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Okay. For me, it's probably going to be more like a 6, like a soft 6, not even a hard 6.
So probably really a 5.
Yeah, maybe like a 5.999.
Okay.
So I mean,
and we're just rounding up.
Yeah, we're just going to round it up and say it's like a soft boiled 6. Okay. Still runny, not really firm.
You wouldn't watch it again?
No, I wouldn't.
Would you watch it again the same way that I would watch it, like with my brother? Or
if my brother came into town and he's like, I want to watch it, I'd be like, good luck with that. Enjoy.
Good luck. I'll be doing something else for the next 10 hours.
Yeah. Like there are definitely shows that, I will rewatch it again. But this one, it was good one time through. And I enjoy like talking about it, going over some of the hypotheticals.
The theories,
and the theories. Then I don't know, like a really great show, and a true fan, you want to rewatch it for like the tidbits that you missed.
Yeah.
I don't really think or care if I missed much.
But I also feel like this show would be a good one that they would hide tidbits. Pick up on now that you know everything.
Well, that's true. But I don't think it's a Marvel franchise film. Like I don't think it's a Marvel comic. Like wasn't Steve saying like the singer from My Chemical Romance was the writer for this? Come on, Mr. East Coast over here, you know.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you never dyed your hair jet black.
Of course not.
So it would lead me to believe that maybe it's like a offshoot offshoot comic publisher. So like maybe Black Horse, or that's the only other one other than DC and Marvel. I'm not a real huge comic fanboy, so comic movies, yes.
I'll watch them.
Yeah, I can't read them. I used to read them as kids, and it's like you get 10 pages of storyline, and you get 10 pages of ads, and then that's it. You got to wait for the next issue until you're out $3.
I'm pretty sure that they're also highly offended if you call them comic books. I think graphic novels is the correct term.
Well, if it were an anime, yeah, I would call it a graphic novel. I mean, but no, it's a comic book, because that's what we call.
What I heard.
I think that's what they would be called here in America. That it would it would just be called a comic book. If we're talking about an anime, a hentai, whatever, maybe it would be graphic.
It doesn't
novel.
Offend me. I don't care what they're called. I was just bringing it up.
You're
gonna get a lot of people YouTube comments like.
Okay, well, I mean, we're pretty deep into the podcast. So if we're offending anybody at this point, I would say leave a comment that you made it this far.
Smash that like button.
Yeah, smash the like button, smush it, and
make it glue.
Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe and leave your comments and buy my merch. And what other shameless plugs can we put out there? Don't do drugs.
Just what are you? What kind of sponsors are you looking for?
Just trying to get that McDonald's money. You know what? McDonald's is too. I want like that Wendy's money. How about that?
That's so Wendy's being a little bit below McDonald's.
I don't want to burn any bridges.
Future sponsors.
Yeah, I don't want to burn any bridges. I want that Chipotle sponsorship, because it's like, who are they sponsoring? I don't think anybody.
They do sponsor some gamers, actually.
Really?
Because gamers are known to go to Chipotle a lot.
Okay.
So I have seen like I don't know. Do you know who Optic is? They're big in esports team, or I guess not that big. They're mainly a North American team that does like Call of Duty and League of Legends and stuff like that. But I know that they have like Chipotle sponsorship.
I want that Chipotle money. I want that. Even if they pay me with burritos, I'll take that. Even if they pay me with tortillas, I'll just take the tortillas.
Yeah, not that picky.
No, not really.
No.
Even if they say we'll sponsor you, but you still have to pay for your own food. Like,
you just so you could put their name on like free advertisement for them. I don't think it's a sponsorship anymore. I think they want to be on your ad space.
Okay. So yeah, they'd have to give me something. A hoodie. Yeah. A hoodie would be nice.
Yeah, like what, a Chipotle burrito shirt?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe have the Chipotle CEO on talking about burritos and what's his favorite? Double rice, double cheese. Like, is he one of the? You're like, hey, that's right in the feels right there.
Yeah, it cuts deep a little bit.
I mean, I don't
personally attacked on this podcast.
I don't think you could really go wrong though. Like with anything you're filling that burrito with, it's a burrito. I mean,
burritos are pretty good no matter getting it.
Yeah. So, I mean, on that note, I think this went pretty well for your first time. Already like good 43 minutes in.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good podcast.
Yeah.
And so
you're going to edit everything out?
No, this is a one take, like from beginning to end. Like after I snap my finger in the beginning, like that's where I'll cut. And then the podcast is just rolling. So it's going to be a full on, probably 30 some odd minute episode. And we'll see.
So pretty much perfect take.
I don't want to jinx it because we still have room. There's still runway left to mess up. And
I mean, but you've got good talent on show.
Whoa, hey, jeez. I mean, I left room on this window. You're going to see it if you ever check out the YouTube channel. /
where can I find you on the YouTube?
You can actually find me on Instagram. It is Ramon.Campamore. And I don't really, I post to YouTube. I don't know what my handle is. Like when I told you to find me, is it you just search Ramon Campamore? Or was it was R.
I think it was R.Campamore.
R.Campamore. So you guys can search me or find me on YouTube there. Chances are, if you've already found it if you're watching this. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, that's where you can get at. I mean, you can see the video version. You can see Chris live and in effect, full effect.
Yes, so
we've got a super small view of myself because the room that I'm in is thrashed. But we got a full on 1080p, super crispy, wide letterbox view. Chris, home in the studio, acoustics coming in perfect, snowball looking good.
Snowball mic, pop filter. Can you hear my P's?
And the professional gaming headset. Next time, we're definitely going to have you gaming.
Oh, yeah, get sponsored by my Razers.
Oh, dude, those are clean, man. What's like the audio coming in through that? Because I'm using the Sonys, and this is more like I think it's just a neutral audio tone. So there's no extra bass, there's no high trebles. It's just supposed to be kind of flat to allow me to hear the audio quality when editing vocals.
I think mine is more for like surround. I don't know much about headsets, so I just grabbed a gaming headset. So so where I can hear people sneaking up behind me in video games, that's what I go for.
Yeah, the only research I need to do is, does it say gaming and does it say headset?
And a
sold.
price point.
Yeah.
I buy with my wallet, so whatever that lets me buy.
Yeah, like if it's $20, it's probably trash.
Yep. Basically, I sit around the like $80 to $100.
I think
when I'm shopping for a headset, that's where I go for, and then I just do like it's the best gaming headset for this price. Whatever pops up.
And on that, like talking about headsets, before I purchased these, because I went down to Guitar Center in Oxnard, and like I'm the type of person, I definitely have to go into the store. I have to try it on. I have to see it, smell it, feel it. And they had the headset set up. And these were ones that were getting really rave reviews on YouTube. However, I was also biased and being swayed one direction because of very popular gamer, Tyler Blevins, who's rocking those. I forget what the name of the headset is, but they look pretty dope on camera. And I figured, let me give those a shot too. Dude, those were way too tight on my head. I couldn't imagine wearing those.
These, if I'm gaming for like a long time, might ears like I play with them for longer than like 5 hours. Really? Not that I have that much time anymore. Back in the day, my ears start to hurt.
Yeah. These ones, super comfortable. It's just, I do have big head, so I have to like, this is like the full extent of the headset. And I'll watch people reviewing and they're like all the way shouldered up. And it's like, how big is my head compared to, you know, some of these people that are out there? I mean, not that
it's Luther sized.
Apparently. Apparently. So,
yeah.
I mean, that was the whole reason that I went with this one versus the one that Ninja is rocking. However, that one, it did look really cool. It sounded really crisp when I tried it out. But
so why just other than that it was too tight is the only reason why you didn't?
Yeah. Price wise, I think that headset was $100 more.
Okay.
But
so
I knew that I was going to be using it for the podcast, and so it was more of an investment. And I could see, it was worth. Yeah. If it worked, I could see using it. But this one, it folds down, so I'm able to carry it with me. And it came with a full-on diagram, so you can tear it down and repair it. If need be, you can buy parts individually. So
fancy.
Definitely better than, I was using an old pair of Beats by Dre, and those things just like fell apart. I don't know.
Really? I actually heard they're not that great.
They're not. I mean, it's all looks. Really clean bass. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I was just really disappointed with the fact that I dropped mad cash at the time that they came out.
Right. Yeah, because when they were first coming out, they were pretty hot.
Yeah. So, and that was one of the first purchases when I walked out of my local Best Buy, and I was sat in my car and I put it on the passenger seat and fastened that seatbelt around it.
Yeah.
And I told myself, I'm either going to lose these or these are going to break. And
whichever comes first.
Yeah, I'm just going to be out that money.
You did both?
They broke. Yeah, they broke.
And then you lost them, or
no? I still.
No, you still have them.
I still have them. The Beats in-ear are great for the gym, but I had that. I think they were the Beats Solos, and they just weren't working for me in the gym. And then by the time I wanted to use them for gaming and for podcasting, they were already so far gone, and there was like a sticky residue on them. Yeah, I don't really know where that came from.
Whatever you're sweating out.
Exactly. So apparently I sweat adhesive, and yeah, it was just really bad all the way around. But I think we're going to cut it there. Sort of just going off, and yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on, man.
Thanks for being on. It's been a while.
Yeah, of course.
And we'll have to make it a regular thing. I mean, if you like it, you can check it on the YouTube when it comes out. And if you think that, your angle's looking good, my lighting's pretty on point. So when you see the video and yours looks kind of like like you could have just took your iPhone out and recorded yourself.
I mean,
well, I think
I do have a lot of natural light coming in from the window off to my left, but you're right.
Yeah.
Could have opened up my window.
I opened up the window and got to invest in the lighting. So that's where we went with it. But I'm going to stop the recording. Don't hang up yet.
Okay.
This is just for the questions after. This is all behind the scenes stuff. So as always, you guys, thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you to Chris for being on. And till next time, see ya.